Welcome back. So in my previous video lecture, I have explained to you regarding the functions of ecosystem, food chain and food web. So in this video, I'm going to explain in detail about the food web. See, a food chain explains what an organism might eat and what might eat in a specific scenario. Right? For example, as I said, you big fish is going to eat small fish. Snakes are going to eat frogs, like that. That is nothing but a food chain. So number of such are going to be combined together like a web like process, or it looks like a web, hence it is called as a food web. So this is another example of the food web, right? So this is a food web of a horse. Just look at this. So these are some insects which are herbivorous, which depends upon plants. So from this, based upon these insects, various other creatures will depend on. For example, a spider mite, right? A fly, a wasp, a dragonfly, a killdeer. All these, for all of them, the food is only insects. But insects, they depend only on producers. So this once there are multiple number of creatures which depend on single one. So this is nothing but a web. So finally, what will happen when all the creatures will die? They undergo decomposition with the help of decomposers. So this is the food web, right? Just have a glance over it, students. Right? So here in this step, we are going to see about various types of tropical levels from first to the fifth tropic level. Students, what about the energy transfer from first tropic level to the fifth tropic level? Do you remember the energy transformation gets decreases when it goes from first level to the next higher level? What will be the decrease in energy? In some cases, there will be 80 to 90% decrease in the energy, right? So this gives an idea about a food web. What is the significance? Food web provides alternate pathways of food availability. If particular crop is destroyed due to some disease, the herbivores in that area do not perish, as these can graze on other types of crop or herbs. Greater the number of these alternate pathways, more stable is the ecosystem, right? So if there are more number of pathways or alternative pathways, then you can say that is the more stable form of the ecosystem. That is the conclusion or significance, right? It can also help in checking over population of highly fecundative species of plants and animals. Food webs also help in ecosystem development, right? So till here we have learned about food chain and food web. So the third most important point in ecosystem is pyramid. So this is called as ecological pyramids. An ecological pyramid, which is also called as trophic pyramid or energy pyramid, is a graphical representation of trophic structure and function of an ecosystem, starting with producer at base and successive trophic levels forming the apex. Right? So ecological pyramids coined by, this was quoted or invented or coined by, cited by Charles Elton. What are the types? Right? So pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. These are the three different types of pyramids. So just look at this. Look at this slide. Primary producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary contributors. So this the same thing with examples here it has been quoted. This is the pyramid. If you look like this, if you look at this diagram, it looks like a pyramid. Hence, this is called as a pyramid. Plants produces herbivorous primary and top carnivorous. See how it is, how the energy is going to be decreased from 1000 kilograms to 1 kilogram. See how drastically, right? The energy is going to be decreased from one level to the another one. So this is another type of pyramid. Just have a glance over it. This is also another type, right? So like this, you can explain as many as number of pyramids based upon their existence in the ecosystem. Ecological succession. It is defined as an orderly process of changes in community structure and function with time mediated through modifications in the physical environment and ultimately culminating in a stabilized ecosystem known as a climax. On the basis of different substrate ecological succession, right? So I can say I'm going a little bit deeper. I can make you very much simpler that you just remember it is water which has more adequate moisture and dry area with a little moisture, right? So yes. The next most important one is biogeochemical cycles. So nutrients like carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, hydrogen, phosphorus, etc. move in circular paths through biotic and abiotic components and are therefore known as a biogeochemical cycle. This is a very important topic in the unit 1, right? So here, what are the various sources for this one? A reservoir, an exchange pool, a biotic community, a gaseous cycles, which are nothing but a sedimentary cycles. So here, energy flow in an ecosystem. Energy flow is the key function of an ecosystem. So it is unidirectional. So during this heat transfer, there is maximum energy is lost. Only 10 to 20% of energy is available in the next trophic level. So energy follows first and second law of thermodynamics. What is first law of thermodynamics? So as everyone you are aware of what is the fundamental rule which is first law of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can be converted from one form to the another form. Coming to the second law, every energy transformation involves dissipation or degradation of energy from concentrated to dispersed form due to metabolic functions, so that only part of energy is stored in the biomass. What are the segments? So hydrosphere, zone of water, sunlight, right? So this ability of water to absorb and release great quantities of heat keeps climate within livable range. For example, if you see in case of summer, we are going to feel very much hard because of the high impact of the sun radiation. In case of at that time, the seas are going to be that sun, it is going to absorb all the water, and in case of rainy season, it is going to give rains. So all this is a part of this cyclic process, right? So atmosphere has 4 layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. What is troposphere? So starts from Earth and extends across 18 kilometers. This is the lowest, or you can say first part of the Earth's atmosphere. It is dense, right? So as altitude increases, temperature decreases. That's why when we are going to go to the hill stations like Ooty, Himalayas, or Himachal Pradesh, Nilgiri Hills, etc., the temperature it is going to be very much cold. Stratosphere. It's just above the troposphere. It extends up to 50 kilometers from the Earth's surface. So here, here again, because while you are going to increase the height level, actually in the first case, the temperature decreases. But if you further goes on going up, the temperature again increases here because of the absorption of this UV radiation. And moreover, ozone layer is also present in that mesosphere. It extends up to 85 kilometers. Temperature again decreases as altitude increases. Right. The last one is thermosphere. It extends up to 600 kilometers high. So temperature increases with altitude due to sun energy. It is subdivided into two layers, ionosphere and exosphere. Right. So this is about this one. So in the next class, I'm going to explain regarding biogeochemical cycles. In our syllabus, we have two cycles, nitrogen cycle and water cycle. I will explain in the next video session. Thank you all.